All right, we are rolling. Welcome in. It is Thursday, October 16th, 2025. Creeping up on the we're at the halfway point of the month. So the first month and the last quarter of the year is halfway over, if you want to think about it that way. Welcome in, everybody, agent wise as well as LO wise. Welcome in. On Thursdays, we invite our realtor partners to join our daily sales huddles. We welcome you all in. We have Brian Cardenas today, who's going to talk a little bit about open houses. But first, I want to go through a couple quick things on my end, and then I'll turn the ball over to Brian, and he can have the rest of the time here. First thing we're going to talk about, as always, is our activities leaderboard from Tempo yesterday. These points seem unreal to me, but despite that, NXT killed it in the top three. Glendale with 872 points yesterday. Doesn't that seem like a fake number to anybody else? But it's real. 104-day streak as well. Brandon Cuellar, 19-day streak and 866 points. Maybe they were just one-upping each other all day long. And then Chris Brown said rounding out the top three with 222 points and an 84-day streak. He's getting close to that 100-day mark as well. Nice job, the three of you. Still some good numbers, 4 through 10. Greg Burkholder with a 3-day streak, 149 points. James Boggs with 140 on an 8-day streak. BP with 136 points. Michael Tanis with 13-day streak and 125 yesterday. Eric Rosberg with 124. Nick Robiliard, sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm sure I did. 121 points. And Troy Fierkenstad with 199. Tomorrow he will hit his 200-day mark with 119 points yesterday. Good job, everybody. One last plug. Well, we'll probably do it tomorrow too. For the lead tracker, it went live this week. If you haven't had a chance to check out the daily sales total from Tuesday, highly suggest you check that one out. And if you haven't been into the lead tracker yourself, get in there, add a lead, see what kind of cool stuff there is, see how it works. Daily sales total on Tuesday from Sean went through all of that. Play of the day today came from Tyler Hodgson, and it is all about following up with your past clients that close within the past month. Reach out to them, stay top of mind, remind them that you're not there just during the closing process, but you're there for them afterwards too. There's a page 3 and 4 beyond the closing playbook that you can follow to help you with scripting and things of that nature, and casually ask for referrals as well. So check that out. That went out this morning. And then, of course, tomorrow's VIP Relationships Day, where we reach out to all of our friends, family, the people that are closest to us, and make sure that when somebody says the word mortgage, they're screaming our name from the rooftops and directing and referring everybody to you. So make sure we're following that play for tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Brian Cardenas, you can have the floor, my friend. Talk to us about some open house goodness.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. Appreciate all you guys coming on. And just so y'all know, this is a 90-minute class that I teach, and we're condensing it down into about 25 minutes. So I'm going to talk a lot. I'm probably going to talk fast. But before I get too far into my thing, I want to know if you guys put in the chat, please. Do you love open houses or do you hate them? I know some people do them because they feel like they need to, but they really don't like doing them. So just put in the chat, love or hate, because sometimes I know there is a love and hate relationship with open houses. Hopefully, what I'm going to do is show you how to do them right so that you can actually start to love them if you don't love them. And a lot of that has to do with the process and then your confidence in the process. You know, a lot of people think that, well, you know, open houses, they're not going to sell the house. It's just to get buyer leads. You can actually accomplish a lot of things. Not only can you sell the house and get buyer leads, but you can also get listings out of them. And the way you get listings is how you market the property in the neighborhood. The neighbors see what's going on. They see that you're putting on, you know, an event type of thing, and they really like to see that houses are being marketed. So we're going to cover a bunch of that today. See a bunch of people in there love open houses. I figured there'd probably be more people that love them. That's why you're actually here today, as opposed to hate them. So we'll see. And we all know, looking at stats, 45% of buyers still go to open houses. Realtors may not love the fact that they go to open houses and don't tell you about it. Hopefully you're educating them on making sure that they tell the agent sitting at the open house that they have a realtor. Hopefully you've gotten your buyer broker agreement signed first. But at the end of the day, the reason that open houses work for realtors and loan officers is it gets you face-to-face with people. All the online marketing that we're trying to do is all geared to getting to the point where you can be face-to-face with somebody. You can build a little bit of trust online. You can do all those kind of things. You can have a reputation that people look at. But at the end of the day, You need to be face to face. You've got to be able to build trust. The other thing is most online leads are very early in the sales process. They're top of the funnel leads, like we call them. But what you're looking for is you're looking for people who are toward the bottom of the funnel. And if you think about it, you got people getting in their car, driving around, walking into houses, knowing that they're going to get a used car salesman type person jumping on them as soon as they walk in. They've got to be pretty serious about wanting to buy a house. So if you do this right and you build rapport with them, you're getting people who are bottom of the funnel closest to purchasing a house. Obviously, they're great for collaboration with realtors and lenders. Any of the realtors on here, hopefully you have somebody with you, whether it's a partner realtor or a lender partner. Just for safety's sake, you want to make sure that you guys collaborate. And then if you've got two people involved on it, you obviously have a lot more opportunities for promoting it, getting in touch with a database of two people instead of one, and just expand your audience. That's the best part of the collaboration. And then, like I mentioned before, you can win listings by showing off your marketing. So those are some of the reasons why open houses are still really good marketing opportunities and business building opportunities. But the first key to success at an open house is picking the right open house. A lot of people just think, well, I'll just go find something that's listed. That's not it, okay? Anything that's listed is not necessarily a great open house. And you've probably all experienced it before where you go to an open house and you're there for 3 hours and you get nobody through or one person through. You have to look back at the open house itself. Did you choose it strategically? Number one, best opportunity for open houses is new listings to the market. If they just come on the market on Thursday or Friday and you're doing open houses over the weekend, those are the best ones to do. The next thing is try to choose listings near high traffic areas, shopping centers, other new build communities. New build communities, they've got signs up all throughout to drive people to that community. If you can do an open house near a new build, you get that natural traffic flow that's going to those new builds, and people may stop off at your open house to just see the alternative in a resale versus a new build. And then, like I said, shopping centers, schools, things like that, where people are going close to there. There's a lot of traffic in there. Anything right off those paths are a great place to do your open houses. And then price points. Okay. You can do a really nice high-end open house. You tend to have more affluent buyers, a little more sophisticated. They may not be the greatest targets for lenders or agents, especially on the lending side of it. You know, a lot of those really high-end buyers are paying cash. The median price point is really a good price point. Even a little bit on the lower median side is good, because those are typically people who are actually going to go out and drive around neighborhoods looking for schools, things like that, and making sure that they see all the opportunities near them. Timing on the open house. Now, you can do open houses during the week and you can do them on the weekend. Everybody traditionally thinks weekend open houses do that. Weekend open houses obviously draw more traffic. There's more people there. If you're doing it on a Saturday, oftentimes, you know, starting somewhere in the 10 to 11 o'clock time frame and stretching out until the maybe 3 or 4 time frame. Not to say you got to do a 5-hour open house, but if you kind of catch those middle times, those are good. Think about the fact that a lot of families may have kids in sports. They may be doing stuff in the mornings, maybe early afternoons. Don't be scared of catching stuff later in the afternoon after people are heading back home from sporting stuff. Also on Sundays, start them a little bit later. If you got people, you know, a lot of people who are going to church on Sunday morning, you're not going to have great traffic in all likelihood on a Sunday morning, but Sunday afternoon open houses can be a lot better. People go to church, get their brunch or lunch, and then have time to go do the things that they want to do. So those are some timing things, but don't shy away from the midweek ones as well. One of the things about open houses that you got to remember is if somebody is going to see you at your open house, there's a pretty good chance they're going to see a few other people at open houses. If you're doing a midweek open house, there's probably not a lot of open houses. So if you get somebody coming through midweek, you may have a better opportunity of being the only one. They don't have a lot of other traffic coming through. They haven't been beat up by other people bombarding them for contact information and whatnot. You're more likely to have people who are a little bit more agreeable to actually having a conversation and talking with you for a little bit. Usually doing those late afternoon, early evening, after people might be getting off of work is going to be the best time. The good thing about those open houses during the week is you can just make that your office for the day. If you're going to be there for 3 or 4 hours, you can get a lot of phone calls done. You can, get work on your computer done if there's not a ton of traffic through there. So it's just a chance for you to be somewhere where somebody might come into your open house versus at home or at your office where nobody's going to come see you looking to buy a house. The next thing is doing the pre-event planning, okay? For a weekend open house, you want to make sure you get it in the MLS no later than Thursday. That is the number one way that people find open houses is through online sources. When you put it in MLS, it gets syndicated out to all the other sites. Zillow's got their open house filter. So make sure you get it in there in time for people to see what's going on. You also want to go ahead and post on socials. Now, some of us might have, like 5,000 friends on Facebook and, a few thousand people following on Instagram, but you're going to get a much bigger reach if you expand beyond just your network and post in groups. There typically is open house groups in most areas. If there isn't one, start one. There's also groups for different communities. Post in those. They might have some rules around it, but anytime you can, post it in different groups. It can even be first-time homebuyer groups, like I said, area groups, communities, things like that. Post where you can. Get the word out as much as possible. Don't hesitate to run ads as well. You can run ads on social to drive traffic to your open houses. The other thing that you can do, and this is where you can really capitalize on the neighborhood marketing and get more opportunities for listings, is door knock the neighborhood. Have a flyer or a door hanger made to take with you. Some people will even do like an invitation style postcard when you go door knocking the neighborhood. The idea behind the door knocking is to have a neighborhood exclusive time. So let's say you're doing an open house from 11 to 2. You can put a 1 hour exclusive time for only people in the neighborhood. You might be knocking on 50 to 100 doors in the neighborhood and inviting them for an exclusive view of the house. Sometimes the neighbors might just want to see decorating. Other times when you're talking to people doing your door knocking, you can say, hey, would you like to choose your neighbors? You might have some friends that have been wanting to move, or you just might want to try to talk them into moving into your neighborhood. This is a great opportunity to check out the house, and then maybe you can present it to some friends. The other thing you want to make sure that you have planned is how are you going to run the event, okay? You need to have a method for sign-ins. If you're going to do flyers, obviously you got to have those all prepped. If you're going to do loan quotes, different loan program payments and things like that, obviously connect with your lender and get those set up ahead of time. And then are you going to do refreshments? It's good to have some kind of refreshments there. Some people will actually, do like mimosas and, bagels or donuts or things like that on the weekend morning ones. The more that you can do, you can even go really big. And, some people will do in the summertime, do like shaved ice machines. Sometimes they'll have, hot dogs or a food truck, something like that. So you can really go big and do a bunch of advertising if you really want to drive a lot of traffic. But once you get to the day of the open house, you're going to want to do a video, okay? Do a video of yourself at the house, post it on all of your socials, inviting everybody to come by and see it. Again, if you want to do it ahead of time, you can record the video ahead of time and just wait till that day to post it, or you can run ads with that video. You want to also do a lot of direction signs, okay? Sometimes I've seen people just, put up 4 signs or 6 signs or something like that. I'm sorry, that's not going to cut it. Like, I know a lot of people see stuff online, But the more signs you do, the more opportunities you have to draw people who just happen to be driving by. They weren't getting online to look for open houses. I know in my area, there's companies out there that will set up signs for you. So you may have 10 signs of your own, but these companies will have open house signs, and they'll usually do packages, 20, 25, 50 signs, getting them up all in the general area. They'll put up multiple signs. It draws eyes and it draws traffic. The other thing you don't want to do, I've heard a lot of times people have this problem, is when you're only doing, 4 to 6 signs, you're really limited if you've got a few turns involved on where you can put them. And the last thing you want to do is have somebody, make a turn into a community and then be looking around for the next sign and they can't find it and they get lost and frustrated and they just take off. So make sure you have plenty of signs, borrow them from your brokerage or another agent who's not doing an open house at your brokerage. Just get a lot of signs out there, drive as much traffic as possible. And again, that opportunity for joint marketing, use your title reps if they'll help you, use your lender to promote it. Make sure you have something that you can post on social. This is an example of something that we have as a template here at UMortgage that you can use to promote the open house. And then at the event, how you handle the event, this really has a huge impact on whether you're successful or not. So everybody knows when you're doing an open house, you're wanting to get contacts. You're wanting to be able to talk to people after the fact. Far too often, I see people doing open houses and they're extremely timid about asking for contact information. They'll let people go walk around in the house and then they'll ask them something like, hey, would you mind signing in here? Or, something like that. The thing you got to think about it from a sales perspective is when you do not do something with confidence, you are not going to instill confidence in the people that you're talking to. If you say things with confidence, they're going to feel confident in what you're telling them. And most people, they just want to be told what's the next thing that they need to be doing. So what I try to do is I set the expectation that you're going to sign in. So I have a sign like this that I put up in the walkway and basically says, welcome, come on in. For security reasons, seller requires that all guests please sign in. And then we give them the opportunity to scan that QR code. It takes them right to a digital sign-in page. We put that on a sign on the walkway, and we put one taped onto the front door. So if they've come up to that house, they've seen 2 signs telling them they're going to be signing in. Then you set up right in the entryway in the foyer. Do not go to the kitchen table. Do not go to the island and let people start wandering through the house without making sure that they've signed in, because you just broke their expectations. They got told they were going to sign in, and then you don't give them someplace to sign in as soon as they come in. They think, oh, maybe I don't have to do this. Now you got to try to wrangle them in. So don't defeat your whole goal here by waiting to talk to them until they're already walking through the house. Then when you ask them to sign in, it's very, very simple and matter of fact. When somebody comes in, you say, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. My name's Brian. They'll say their name. Then just say, I just need to get you to sign in here. You'll have a sheet there with the QR code. You can put the QR code on your phone. You can just have them scan it. You can do paper sign-ins. But if you just do it very matter-of-factly, I just need to get you to sign in here. It's very simple, very easy, very confident, and you've already prepped them that that's what you're going to be asking them to do. 99 times out of 100, they're going to just go ahead and do what they're told to do. That's just how we operate. So that's how you get them to sign in. Then you also can use another strategy to confirm that you're getting good sign information by telling them, hey, we're going green here. We're not trying to chop down a bunch of trees. So I'm going to go ahead and text you all the information on the property. What's your number? Or you can pull the number off a paper sign in. But once they give you the number and you send them either a flyer or your MLS link to the property, you can confirm that they've got it. If they're doing a digital sign in, if you set it up with your CRM to auto respond afterward, it'll send them a text. So you'll hear their phone going off to confirm that they got your message. Now you know you've got a good phone number. Otherwise, you might get Mickey Mouse's phone number and you'll never be able to contact him again. So go green, just text them the information on the property. Then let me actually show you right now the digital sign-in sheet. I don't think the link will actually work on this. Oh, maybe it does. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see the sign-in page?
Yep.
Yep. So this will work on the phone or computer. This is just built in my CRM. You can use any types of different things. Some people will use a link tree, and you can just put some questions on a link tree. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can create a form in Google Forms with a QR code that links to that. Lots of different ways to do it, but this is just kind of how I've done it. This is a standard one. We get them to just put in their contact information. How did you find the open house, and submit. And then what it does is it sends them a confirmation back, which I'll show you in a minute. And we've got the branding on there. So let me go ahead and switch back here. So a couple of things on capturing leads that you don't want to do. And this is something that realtors do all the time. And they've been trained that they don't want to step on each other's toes and, steal clients from somebody else. That's all fine and good. I'm not trying to tell you to try to steal clients, but you don't need to ask them a question that they're instinctively going to say yes. Okay. If you say, are you working with an agent? Their brain is telling them, say yes, and this person's going to leave me alone. So you've invited them to just give you a way to get them off your case. The other thing too is, have you spoken to a lender yet? Don't bother asking that, because again, what are they going to do? Yes, most of the time they'll say yes, whether they have or they haven't. What you can ask is just, how did you find us? Okay. And then one of my favorite questions, either when I'm doing an intake call or meeting somebody, what's got you motivated to get out and looking at houses today? Right then and there, they're going to start telling you what's going on. What is their motivation? Why are they out looking at houses? Are they ready to sell a house? Are they just, tire kicking? Are they just looking for decorating ideas? But just ask them to open up a little bit. That gets the conversation going. The whole goal that you're trying to do is to get them to talk. You don't want to be the one pitching to them. You don't want to be the one selling. If you get them to talk and you ask them questions, you build rapport using the Ford technique or FROG, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, or goals. You ask those type of questions, you get them talk. That's how you build rapport, and that's how they're going to remember you when you have that next conversation. Now, another thing that I like to do, and I've just started doing this recently, is having some fun. Okay. Put in the chat, how do you get people to remember you when you meet them at an open house? What I've decided is I'm going to just have fun. So we're going to do Price is Right game. And I'm going to ask them, guess the monthly payment for the house. And the person who is closest to the monthly payment without going over, I'm going to send them a $20 Amazon gift card. I give them a little bit of the specifics so that they know, are we talking about a 5% down, good credit, blah, blah, blah. So we just give them a little bit of the specs so that they know generic situation. I make sure they don't have the flyer with the financing options out there for them to look at while they're giving the answer. I do hold that back, and I make sure that we give it to them after the fact. But this way you get them engaged. You can have a little fun with them. And then when you're making calls back to them, this is how I get them to remember who they met, because if they met 3 other people, I want to stand out. I was probably the only one doing a Price is Right, giving away an Amazon gift card. Honestly, you can give away multiple Amazon gift cards if you want to. If you do that, what it does is, if you give somebody a $20 gift card, even though it's a nominal amount, they're going to be more apt to continue to have a conversation with you. You've given them something. You've sort of set the expectation for them to reciprocate. And even if it's just a conversation and giving you the opportunity to talk to them, that's all you really need. The other thing that we do is we have feedback forms on a clipboard that we give to them when they come in, and we ask them, hey, I'm not going to, pester you as you're walking around the house. I'm available for any questions that you have. But what we'd really love is for you to give us some feedback on the house so that we can relay that to the seller. You get them going around with the clipboard and filling this stuff out. When they come back, when they're done, now they have to hand it to you. Now you have another opportunity to engage them in conversation. So that's something that gets that conversation going without you having to be standing with them the whole time, kind of making them feel like you're a used car salesperson. Now, the follow-up process, so I've got this built into my digital sign-in. This sends text messages to follow up. Now, the text messages that people get are not intended to replace you reaching out and making phone calls. Phone calls are the most effective thing, but we also know that Sometimes we're not great at doing those follow-up phone calls. And so we want to make sure that some kind of follow-up and reach out is continuing to happen. So the first message here is just confirming that, they've registered. Appreciate you stopping by. Now when this text comes into them while they're standing there, you've got a good phone number. Then the system will send out a text notification to both the agent and the loan officer with their information. So now you've got that on your phone. About 30 minutes later, we send them this text message basically saying, hey, in case you missed it when you registered for the open house, we're offering a special thank you for coming to our open house today. You'll get a coupon good for up to $700 for a home warranty and up to $650 for an appraisal if you schedule and attend a free buyer consultation to get pre-approved for a home purchase. It can be used on any property and it doesn't expire. Here's a link to schedule. I put my scheduling link in there. So basically it gives people a reason to schedule a consultation call with me. And then I don't care what house they buy. We're going to work out getting those credits to them. And the agent, obviously, that's partnering with me is going to give them those credits for the home warranty. So that's what goes out about 30 minutes after. And then the next day, we send this text message out to the agent as a reminder. Hey, create a video and send it to the person that came by. Again, separate yourself from what everybody else is doing. And if you give them a video and you were memorable in person, that's going to build a little bit more familiarity with them. And I even send a suggested video script. Obviously, you're not going to have to follow it exactly, but I didn't want to have no idea for anybody, what to say afterwards. So create a video thanking them for coming by. And then about 30 minutes later, I also send one out to the loan officer, me, and I spread it out just a little bit there because I don't want them to get blasted by 2 videos sent via text message right on top of each other. Then it just looks like, hey, we just talked to each other and said, hey, let's both go do a video. So spread it out a little bit. So I spread out the reminder just a little bit. And then the next day follow up, we just send another text out. Hey, just had a quick question about the open house we met at yesterday. Here's the address. Is that a home that you're actually interested in? And just hear what they have to say. Once they respond to that, then you can start having a normal, natural conversation with them. Again, mix in a phone call in there. My system also has a reminder to make a phone call to them too. So sometimes they don't answer. That's why we build in the automatic text messaging. And then when you're done, debrief, talk about what happened, what leads did you guys get, what notes can you put into your CRM on each of the people that you talked to. For example, one of them I had the buyers came through in their VA, they're in a lease for another few months. And I talked to them about breaking their lease early. Actually, the agent talked about breaking the lease early, how they can negotiate that out. And I said, hey, the other thing you can think about too is with the VA loan, there's a lot more in concessions that you can get that most people don't realize. And that may be able to help cover some of your closing costs. It could even pay off a debt that you might use. Let's say you use a credit card to pay off an early termination fee on your lease. We can pay off that credit card with seller concessions. They obviously never heard of that. So that was another thing that I could do in that conversation. I let the agent know about it, put that in the CRM, and make sure as we're doing up our follow-up over the next couple of weeks that we remember those things to bring up in the conversation. So you get to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what questions came up, and then just tweak and revise for the next one so that you can have success with your open houses. That's 90 minutes in 25. I did not take any questions in the chat, so we can go back through and look at those and see if we can cover those, or raise your hand if you want to ask a question as well.
There was one in chat from John about the flyer with the QR code. Any suggestions on how to go about getting that made?
Yeah, I'll share that with you guys. So if you want to send it out and follow up.
Yeah, I can do that. Send it.
Super high tech, John. It's Microsoft Word.
And then I think John's other question got answered when we got to the text portion with the follow-ups and stuff. If not, John, feel free to correct me.
Yeah, I think it's, it's just a good idea to have some sort of hook when you're at the open house to get some sort of shot at the play. You know what I mean? It's going to be admittedly hard to get that dude to flip from his current pre-approved lender. Okay. But if you offer some sort of hook, hey, once this deal's funded, we'll give you a credit for your appraisal. We're only doing that special for the people that attended the open house today. I just want to make sure you get your free coupon. Can I do a mini app. That's usually how I do it.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with open houses is, they're probably going to a couple of other open houses. You got to stand out. So figure out how you're going to stand out. It might be, just the event environment that you create there. It might be an incentive to do, an application with you to get some closing cost credits. It might be part of the discussion that you have, showing that you're actually a lot more knowledgeable than anybody else that they might be talking to. Whatever it is, you got to do something to stand out. And that's why that follow-up process is important. And sending video, just taking a quick video, a selfie video saying, hey, John and Sally, love meeting you today. And those are really good to do, later that day so they don't forget you, but at least by the next day. Hey, love meeting you over at the house on, Main Street. Love to get a chance to schedule a time to talk with you, learn a little bit more about your situation, whatever. And don't forget, we've got this coupon that it can get you up to whatever dollar amount you're doing, $1,350 in closing cost credits. But have something that they can remember, have something that they remember you by, just in how you engage with them. And that's where having a little fun game, guessing game thing is also kind of cool too. And if you got to give, $40 or $60 in Amazon gift cards out to people, to be able to have further conversations and build that sort of sense of reciprocation that they'll have, it's money well spent. Any other questions? Good.
I don't see any other hands. Appreciate the sprint, Brian. Got through it. No problems. If you are a partner on this call, just make sure that you join us for future Thursdays. That's when we do our daily sales huddles and invite our partners in. As for everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Everybody have a good rest of your day.
See y'all.